Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The United Nations is warning of a spiral of chaos after the United States joined Israel's war on Iran by attacking 3 Iranian nuclear sites. U.S. stealth B-2 bombers dropped 14 bunker-buster bombs, each weighing 30,000 pounds, the largest non-nuclear bombs ever dropped by the United States. The U.S. Navy also deployed 30 submarine-launched Tomahawk cruise missiles. President Trump ordered the attack without seeking congressional approval. The Trump administration briefed some top Republican lawmakers ahead of time, but no Democrats. Trump addressed the nation Saturday night.
Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Iran decried the U.S. attack as a grave violation of international law, warning it'll result in everlasting consequences. Iran has long said its nuclear program is solely for civilian purposes. In March, Trump's own intelligence director, Tulsi Gabbard, told lawmakers the intelligence community, quote, continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, unquote. But Trump dismissed the findings, saying Friday, quote, my intelligence community is wrong. On Sunday, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi criticized the timing of the U.S. and Israeli attacks.
Well, I think it is irrelevant to ask Iran to return to diplomacy, because we were in the middle of diplomacy. We were in the middle of talks with the United States when Israelis blew it up.
Araghchi is in Moscow today for talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Following the U.S. attack, Pentagon officials and Vice President J.D. Vance denied the U.S. is pushing for regime change. But on Sunday, President Trump wrote online, quote, it's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to, MIGA, make Iran great again. Why wouldn't there be a regime change? MIGA, M-I-G-A. At the United Nations, Secretary General Antonio Guterres said he was gravely alarmed by the U.S. attack.
2 days ago, in this very chamber, I made a direct appeal. Give peace a chance. That call was not heeded. Instead, the bombing of Iranian nuclear facilities by the United States marks a perilous turn in a region that is already reeling. From the outset of the crisis, I have repeatedly condemned any military escalation in the Middle East. The people of the region cannot endure another cycle of destruction.
Earlier today, Israel attacked 6 Iranian airports and parts of Tehran, including the gates of the Evin prison. Al Jazeera reports huge explosions have rocked Tehran. According to one count, Israeli attacks have killed at least 950 people and injured around 3,450 over the past 11 days. Iran launched drones and fired missiles at Israel today in response. One missile struck a power station, cutting off electricity for thousands in southern Israel. On Sunday, the Iranian parliament voted to back the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important shipping routes. We'll have more on Iran after headlines. Protests took place in major U.S. cities to condemn Trump's strikes on Iran, including in New York, D.C., Boston, Chicago, and Los Angeles. This is activist Nasisa speaking from New York Sunday.
Already, Israel has killed hundreds of Iranians and injured thousands more, and we see that the fighting is now escalating more and more. We're here to say that that's enough, and it's time for the bombing to end.
Columbia University graduate, Palestinian student protest leader Mahmoud Khalil is free. He's been reunited with his wife and newborn son after being released on bail by a federal judge Friday following over 100 days in a Louisiana ICE jail. He was seized by federal agents in March, becoming the first pro-Palestinian campus protester to be jailed by the Trump administration. Mahmoud Khalil spoke briefly Saturday after flying from Louisiana to Newark Airport.
Still, the fight is far from over. The genocide is still happening in Gaza. Israel is still waging a full war against Palestinians across Palestine. The U.S. government is funding this genocide, and Columbia University is investing in this genocide. This is what I was protesting. This is what I will continue to protest with every one of you, not only if they threaten me with detention, even if they would kill me, I would still speak up for Palestine.
On Sunday, Mahmoud Khalil addressed over 1,000 supporters and the press outside the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in Manhattan, then led a march to the gates of Columbia University. We'll have more from Mahmoud Khalil later in the broadcast. While the world is focused on Iran, Israel's continuing its massacres in Gaza. Israeli attacks killed over 200 Palestinians over the past 3 days, including many who were killed while waiting to receive food and humanitarian aid. Meanwhile, Amnesty International reports satellite images show Israeli forces have completely razed what was left of the southern Gaza town of Quzah. Amnesty said the destruction, quote, provides fresh evidence of Israel's genocide against Palestinians in the occupied Gaza Strip, unquote. In the United Kingdom, the group Palestine Action's leading a major protest in London today amidst reports the Labour government of Keir Starmer will announce a ban on the Direct Action Group under Britain's Terrorism Act. This comes after 2 Palestine Action activists breached the country's largest Air Force base Friday and damaged 2 fighter planes in protest of Britain's support for Israel's war on Gaza. The activists also sprayed red paint into the jet's engines and on the runway to, quote, symbolize Palestinian bloodshed, unquote. In Syria, a suicide bomb attack at a Greek Orthodox church in Damascus killed at least 22 people Sunday. Over 60 others were wounded. Syria's Interior Ministry blamed the attack on ISIS. It was reportedly the first suicide bombing in Damascus since Bashar al-Assad's government was toppled in December. In California, there's mounting public outrage after footage went viral of at least 7 masked U.S. Border Patrol agents pepper spraying and brutally beating an immigrant father and landscaper while he worked outside of an IHOP restaurant in Santa Ana. Narciso Barranco is the father of 3 U.S. Marines. The agents are seen hovering over Barranco, who is pinned down against the pavement as they repeatedly punch him before forcibly putting him in the back seat of an unmarked SUV. The 48-year-old father was taken to a detention facility in Los Angeles after his arrest Saturday. One of his sons told the Los Angeles Times that his father's shoulder was dislocated, that he had not received medical attention. Barranco's son also said his father had not been given any water or food after more than 24 hours in detention. In related news, rallies have continued demanding the release of photojournalist Anthony Orendorff, who is being held at a Los Angeles jail without bail after being arrested while documenting an ICE raid in the neighborhood of Pacoima last week. In more immigration news, a federal judge in Tennessee has ordered the release of Maryland father Kilmar Abrego Garcia from jail, where he's been held since being brought back to the United States earlier this month after being wrongfully sent to and imprisoned in El Salvador. But Abrego Garcia will likely be then taken into ICE custody while he awaits his federal trial. The Trump administration is accusing him of helping transport undocumented immigrants, charges his legal team and family have denied. Kilmar Abrego Garcia pleaded not guilty to trafficking earlier this month. In Ukraine, a major Russian drone and missile attack has killed at least 10 people in and around the capital, Kyiv. It's the second such overnight assault over the past week. The attack hit residential areas and struck a hospital and metro station that serves as a bomb shelter. The government of Belarus has freed the jailed opposition leader Sergei Tikhanovsky, alongside over a dozen other political prisoners after direct talks with the U.S. He was imprisoned in 2020 ahead of national elections in which he planned to challenge the longtime rule of the Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. Sergei's wife, Svetlana, ran for president instead, but lost in what was widely viewed as a rigged election. On Saturday, Sergei Tikhanovsky was reunited with his family, who live in exile in Lithuania. He told reporters his children did not even recognize him. He also addressed his supporters.
Они там называют тех, кто...
They call those who oppose them traitors, and I will call anyone who does not resist them a traitor. I want to address all Belarusians now and tell you, if you were waiting for a sign, here it is.
The government of Panama has declared a state of emergency, suspending constitutional protections in the Bocas del Toro province after 2 months of worker-led protests and road blockades in opposition to a contested social security reform. The province is a major banana-producing region where workers have spoken out against exploitive conditions by banana giant Chiquita. The corporation, formerly known as United Fruit Company, fired thousands of striking workers last month. And Texas has become the largest state in the country to require the 10 Commandments be displayed in all public school classrooms. Texas's Republican governor, Greg Abbott, signed the bill as a federal appeals court ruled a similar law in Louisiana is, quote, plainly unconstitutional. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.